possible, high 87. Thunderstorm early this evening, otherwise partly cloudy tonight, low 68. Variable cloudiness, breezy for tomorrow, shower and a high 79. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
68 at O'Hare. Next news at 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. This is troubling. In the latest episode, I guess if you take this stuff seriously, the latest episode of Secret Service 911, which is a spin-off of Reno 911. This is Susan Crabtree reporting for RealClearPolitics.com. She's been all over it. During Trump's visit to North Carolina the other day, a female Secret Service agent abandoned her post to breastfeed her child. I hope it was her child. With no permission or warning to the event site agent. This according to three sources inside the Secret Service.
She pumped, or she had the baby on location with her?
No, she had the kid with her.
With her.
Shortly before Trump's motorcade arrival, this is Susan Crabtree reporting. I'm told 5 minutes beforehand, the site agent was getting ready for the arrival. The site agent is the person in charge of the entire event security. The site agent went to do one final sweep of the walking route and found the agent breastfeeding her child in a room that is supposed to be set aside for important Secret Service official work. By the way, the rules of the game, a working agent on duty cannot bring a child to a protective assignment. This woman was reportedly out of the Atlanta field office. She was in a room with two other family members. Anthony Guglielmi, who's the spokeshuman for the Secret Service, we know him. He was a spokeshuman for the CPD for a time.
Yep.
He said the incident didn't have an impact on the event, and all employees in Secret Service are held to the highest standards.
Oh, there we go again.
Obviously.
Same line.
They're obviously. You don't need to tell us. It's obvious they're held to the highest standards.
Well, what's going to happen to the agent who abandoned her post?
They're looking into it.
Oh, really?
They'll get back to you as soon as the FBI will get back to you as soon as they locate that coke that
was found in the White House?
That Kim Cheadle disposed of, apparently, the former Secret Service director.
Another clown show.
For more on this and other matters, please be joined by Bret Baier, host of Fox News Special Report, of course, 5 p.m. Chicago time during the week. Best-selling author of To Rescue the Constitution, George Washington and the Fragile American Experiment, as well as the History Club, Duel Across Time. Bret, are you coming to town? Are you here yet?
I'm not here yet. I'm there yet. I'm coming in Sunday. We start our programming Sunday night. And
do you need I got a futon in my place if you need a place to crash.
Thanks. No, I think we're good.
Okay.
We're good.
And so do you have time to play some golf this week?
I doubt I have time to play golf. I think I am in shooting around. We're going to talk to delegates. We've got interviews with all kinds of people, but I wish I could bring my golf clubs and do it.
Right. The guys at Olympia Fields are going to be disappointed. They were expecting an appearance when the DNC was on. So,
I had big plans. I had Chicago Golf Club. I had all kinds of stuff in my calendar, but no go.
Well, if you get bored and you're tired of talking to the Chicago politicians, for example, before the big nights on Wednesday and Thursday, just keep Olympia Fields at the top of your list. All right.
All right. We'll do.
So, are you going to be snippy with Kamala? She's backed out of, or has not agreed to participate in the Fox debate with you and Martha.
Yeah. We're not out of the game. They're agreeing to a debate in October, and they haven't specified that. Obviously, the former president has agreed to a Fox debate September 4th, September 17th. We threw out all kinds of dates, but the Harris campaign has not. And but they've said this debate will happen September 10th on ABC and sometime in October, and then the vice presidential on CBS on October 1st. So, it's like the Wild West of negotiating, of trying to get this across the finish line. This is essentially why they had the Presidential Commission on Debates to do this stuff. And, I think that there's still a chance that we'll do it. If we don't do a debate, I think we'll get town halls independently with both candidates, but we're having talks with them now.
Is Kamala Harris's camp, are they basing how she performs on the first debate on whether or not they do an October debate?
They said they've agreed to an October debate, so at least they put out that statement. But they said they're not going to finalize anything until after the September 10th debate. So that's a good question.
Just going back to what we started the segment with, Secret Service, and when are we going to get an update on the failed assassination attempt on President Trump in terms of how that investigation's going? Is anybody going to be held accountable? Somebody going to get a timeout for their obvious failures?
I think that this is a major story that we're going to stay on, but they've got this bipartisan commission up on Capitol Hill now engaged in going out there and starting their own investigation separate of what the FBI is doing. We haven't heard word one about that investigation. And as time goes on, you wonder, are we getting to the bottom of it? There are so many more questions than we started with about. We don't know boo about this guy, really. We don't understand, the shot trajectory, all of it. We don't have why that rooftop was left checked by the Secret Service. We have so many questions that hopefully the congressional investigation is going to go down, but we're going to continue to do stories on it.
Well, something else, too, that was reported is that 10 days after that failed assassination attempt, the FBI released the would-be assassin's body for cremation. And this was not known until early this month by the county coroner, law enforcement, the sheriff, etc. In fact, Representative Clay Higgins was demanding to have his expert examine the body.
Yeah, and, there's a story about the FBI cleaning off the roof. There's just some bizarre things. Now, we're trying to piece all the pieces together, but the fact that the FBI hasn't given us anything, and the fact that the Secret Service hasn't briefed again, is a real problem. The last time they briefed, there wasn't much new information.
Well, and what about Thomas Crooks, the shooter?
Yeah, we don't have anything more than, a couple of posts on social media. What's his history? How does this all transpire? But we don't have a map of, usually they have a psychological analysis. We don't have any of that.
And we don't have any sort of information from his parents, what they did or didn't tell about FBI about him, anything that fills in his profile. This is
the most uncovered story. I mean, it's lost now. You don't see it anywhere, and I think that's a major problem. I mean, you can't just let it go. There's major things. This is a former president of the United States who was almost assassinated, and we don't have answers. It's pretty mind-blowing.
Something else that's mind-blowing continues to be your colleague Bill Malugin reporting. ICE Buffalo arrested a Peruvian gang leader yesterday who's wanted for 23 murders in Peru. He's the leader of a fraternal organization called Los Killers, and arrested by ICE in Northwest New York. Took almost 2 months before federal authorities learned he was wanted by Peru for 24 murders, and that's when ICE went to work. So that vetting that Mayorkas always talks about, there's some gaps.
Big time. And that's just the latest in a series of big, high-profile criminals who have come back up on the radar after getting in. He got in May. There have been other really high-profile criminals who have been busted, got in recent months. And, I think that this is a big, big issue for the campaign. And we'll see how Kamala Harris deals with, the flip-flops of where she was and where she is on immigration. Today's big story is the economy and price controls. And one of the suggestions that they have, the Harris campaign has for dealing with price.
Yeah, that is going to be exciting. I'd like to see what the food ration coupons look like. I don't know if that'll be the designs will be unveiled today, or maybe that comes a little bit later.
I mean, it didn't work in Nixon. It hasn't worked in socialist countries. And you have Democratic economists saying this is a bad idea, but yet they're going down this road, which is really surprising that this is the first concrete policy that'll be laid out.
All right. So yesterday, excuse me, one second. Yesterday, Kamala Harris and Joe Biden were together again on the stage. Are you surprised that he's only getting a Monday slot and that our governor and our mayor have gotten a higher seed than President Biden?
Yeah, that's interesting. I think they're looking at it like he's kicking things off. I think I think it's going to feel like get him over with on Monday and then exit and become the Kamala Harris show. It's interesting that she's trying to distance herself a little bit from the economic situation, but it is the Biden-Harris administration and the Biden-Harris economy and Bidenomics, and how many times she talked about Bidenomics working. So this is going to be a dance to extricate herself from 4 years of Biden economics.
Just one more thing on the immigration issue, because I this is another story that's going underreported, and a former colleague of yours, Catherine Herridge, was on the job. She's a very good investigative reporter, as you know. She had interviewed these three DHS whistleblowers who talked about how the federal government, Department of Homeland Security, is not enforcing a 20-year-old federal law that requires DNA collection with respect to people who enter this country illegally. On the order of 950,000 or more people we should have DNA collection on, and we don't because DHS isn't doing their job.
Yeah. I mean, I think you're having more and more of these whistleblowers come out and give interviews like they did to Catherine Herridge, and we've talked to a number of them. Bill Melugin has had people on our air that have real problems with how things have operated. So this is an issue that's not going away. It's second in our list behind the economy when we poll. Abortion's up there too, but immigration is right there.
One other issue that's going underreported, I think, particularly given what's happening in England, and I know they don't have First Amendment protections, but one of the major parties in this country isn't too keen on our First Amendment protections, it would seem. And we were just talking about this, so this could be a convention story. A pro-Israel, pro-American group denied a permit to essentially, protest or organize, express themselves in the protest zone during the convention because they present a public safety problem with respect to a pre-approved protest organization, which of course is the pro-Hamas protesters. They also were denied advertising space on screens at O'Hare Airport that have the message with pictures of bring American hostages home because it violated DOA's policy of messages that promote violence. This whole sort of effort afoot to compel the unification of opinion, to eliminate dissent. I don't know if people understand the extent to which this is afoot, and so it rises to the level of a concern, the way it is to me at least. But we're just seeing more and more troubling infringements on people's right to freely speak and think in this country, and with respect to your right to protest, your right to lodge grievances that will be on display this week in Chicago, seems like a timely story.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we covered it last night on the show. I think it's a big, it falls into a pattern. This is why, a lot of people on the right and even in the middle are praising Elon Musk for all that he's done to kind of open up X and leave that a place where, ideas can be batted around. And I think it's a big story. And you look out at UCLA, where a judge had to step in and say that the Jewish students had to be allowed to go to school because they were being blocked from attending classes because they were Jewish. I mean, that's, a little surreal if you think about it. And, on the flip side of the country, the Columbia University president resigns based on all of this. That's the fourth Ivy League who's had to deal with this from a leadership standpoint. I think it's a major story, and it's one that we'll definitely cover in Chicago.
All right, Bret. Well, again, the shrimp gumbo at Olympia Fields is really good.
Oh my
It's
God.
after a tough round on North, it's a hearty soup. Bret Baier, host of Fox News Special Report, weekdays at 5. Bret, good luck in Chicago.
Thanks. We'll see you guys.
Thank you. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Chicago is talking about. It's Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560. The Answer.
Quick delivery service. What do you need delivered today?
Hi, I'm trying to work through a last-minute to-do list for my boss. Can you deliver a hard drive to the Loop in Chicago?
We can deliver that today.
Okay, can you deliver 20 boxes to a client in Rockford?
We can deliver that today.
Can you deliver 12 pallets of tile to our customer in Naperville?